they're looking at like numbers wise, like,
Catch basin.
yeah, like how does it work,
Okay.
right? So at least I had some information, but yeah, it took me like 4 emails, a phone call, and a second phone. Then finally, I got information.
All right, welcome back. So next report is also from our Director of Legislative Services, and it's regarding the regulatory and enforcement overview for electric scooters. Jennifer, I'll
Thank you,
interrupt that.
through your worship. So as a result of several inquiries received by staff, the purpose of this report is to provide council and residents with an overview of how these scooters are currently regulated, such as by current enforcement. Previously reviewed this last October. Felt that this report is more information. So within the report, staff have outlined the current printed framework with respect to these traffic provisions and program requirements. The town has not opted into the e-scooter pilot project. As a result, e-scooters remain on town roads. Outline in the report, enforcement on roadways falls under the jurisdiction of services through the Highway Traffic Act and provincial fence. Only police officers have the authority to stop riders, request identification, issue citations, or seize a scooter. Municipal bylaw officers cannot stop these scooter riders to issue tickets, though they have the ability to provide the public education. Bylaw officers do not have the same enforcement authorities as police officers and cannot compel riders themselves, which creates significant enforcement challenges for riders who use or refuse to cooperate. On the passing of municipal bylaw to provide additional enforcement will still remain difficult in many circumstances due to the practical around identification. This is not a standalone issue. This issue is across the province. E-bike issues. Town does currently have enforcement authority with parks bylaw, park use bylaw, that relates to park use, trails as well. Staff believe the best and most effective path forward is a robust education and public awareness campaign. Education initiatives involving both town and local people collaboratively together would likely provide the greatest benefit, particularly in educating underage youth riders and parents regarding safe operation, roadway rules, sidewalk concerns. Staff have already undertaken education by way of our social sites. The town's website information will be included in the next tax billing cycle and the water sewer billing cycle. Guidelines will also be placed in the town's next full page of the edition of the Shelburne Free Press. Staff recommend continuing to focus on education as an enforcement, awareness, and collaborative effort. Take any questions.
That's phenomenal.
This all started in the Cyber Police Board meeting. I raised the issue when the inspector stated that they were going to be participating in education on e-bikes and bikes in general. So I thought, well, while you're there doing that, why not do scooters as well? And I was told the OPP, what was it he said? It was not within their jurisdiction. Nothing to do with e-scooters. And that was a bit of a surprise. And he told us at the same time that if it was to be enforced in any form or way, it was a $230 fine and a court appearance. And he did not think that that was appropriate for children, which I agree. It's not appropriate to go after children to do that. I was after the educational component. I wasn't after the fine component. And I notified Jennifer right away, right after the meeting, basically about what had happened at the board meeting, and the fact that we were told it was by the inspector, it was a bylaw, or appropriate bylaw issue that was police. Even recently, both the mayor and I have received email. He still seems to indicate in the email that it is really not a police issue. It's not something that falls, and he's contacted a prosecutor And we see information that indicated it was from the prosecutor something that was not necessarily a police issue. So I'm still concerned that somehow we have to communicate with the OPP and work with them and make them understand that it is a police issue. It's not a bylaw issue. It's not a town issue. The town has banned, period. They're not to be on the street. And unfortunately, I think, I'm not sure if all of you have seen, but I've seen 11-year-olds and 14-year-olds, two on a e-scooter going down the street together on the street. And like the safety factor is what concerns me. I don't want to see somebody hurt or get killed in a traffic situation. So I agree with the educational component. And I agree we need to educate parents. The parents are the ones buying these scooters for these kids, not realizing that, hey, what you're buying is good for your backyard. That's about it. It's no good anywhere else. That's just my views on the situation, that we need to work with the OPP, and the OPP need to be out there with us on the educational component. And if they do see people on e-scooters on our street, stop them. Tell them that they're not allowed, get them off the street, take them home to their mom and dad, tell their mom and dad the same thing if need be. I don't know. It's just my thoughts.
So what would opting into the provincial program change?
And would it allow this power to pass a bylaw that
So in the absence of that, they're just not.
Yeah. Just a couple of things, since 2024, Sick Kids Hospital has reported 4% increase on e-scooter and e-bike injuries with youth. Mostly related to not wearing helmets. And then the pilot project is effective in areas where there are bike lanes that are separated from traffic, or, there's a bike or e-bike or e-scooter rental program in place. So I don't think we're going to be doing bike rental, scooter rental program in the next year or so, maybe longer, but they shouldn't be on sidewalks. I've seen people near misses on sidewalks. I had an email today from somebody who was on the sidewalk and got brushed by an e-scooter. So, I don't know if we can enforce that even as an interim.
Through the mayor, as Jeff just said, we're not alone.
No,
So Halton, I think Halton is actually advocating to the province that it's standardization for all of, to point that was made, these children are not buying them, the staff, we did a quick scan, they're not inexpensive. So for example, some are 1,000, 1,100, some of them online are 400 or 500. We're also aware that in some other jurisdictions, school boards have also taken a firm position that they're not allowed on their own property or on sidewalks that they own or in storage. So by virtue of that approach from a school board, the student or whoever is riding them to school is, by virtue of that inability to have it at the end resulting travel place, can't take it.
Mhm.
So there has to be some kind of piece of consolidated approach to this. I think we're confused that our understanding has been, especially when we looked at Halton, when we looked at other police forces, that they are the lead agency in terms of the enforcement and the monitor. The bylaw that we have does not have teeth, if that's the appropriate word, for enforcement, because as Jennifer said, we cannot stop you under a certain age and ask for ID. And police have that authority. The ultimate guess the ultimate goal of any approach that we take is for safety, risk avoidance, and making sure that there's not conflictual users. I mean, sidewalks are a great thing to feel safe, but not in this case. And I again anecdotally will say I have seen, and it might be the same, two younger ladies, girls, probably grade 7, if that, two on, back to back, holding one another with no help. And they're usually at Greenwood going down the hill with a slight incline. That's safe. So those are the kind of things that we need to do. But Jennifer, I know you were going to expand the recommendation somewhat to look at maybe even bringing this to annual. I mean, if you can buy it at a local hardware store or this retailer or that retailer, there's a disconnect between my ability to purchase it and my ability to use it.
I heard the province was looking at this today.
They were doing e-bikes today, not e-scooters. Because the e-bikes are being modified, they're being sold as non-motorcycles, when in fact, I think a lot of municipalities that are dealing with the liability of that are saying they're equivalent to a motorcycle.
I do agree. I think that the education piece is the most important piece, and it's not just reaching young people, but parents. I do think that there does seem to be a bit of a disconnect between, what seems to be the information flowing from the province and what we're hearing from our government detachment. So I don't have a problem circling back to our detachment commander to have a conversation. I don't think any municipality in Dufferin has opted in. That's my understanding, including Orangeville. So I'll maybe talk to Mayor Post as well on Thursday at County Council. Because I mean, we're not alone, and because each municipality within Dufferin is now, at least by the, I think a consistent, approach to the education piece is going to be most effective.
Maybe want to talk to the mayor.
I was just going to equate this to, and the disconnect, you can take a step further. If someone who has a rural property or has this, an acre of land wants to buy their child a child-size dirt bike to be used on the property, that's one thing. But then that, comes off the property and on the streets, and that's becomes an issue. I think the concern here is that these are designed for streets. Scooters and e-bikes are designed for streets, and they like pavement, and so I think there's a disconnect there between the intent of what the parents are buying it for as well. But I mean, again, education's probably our first best approach.
There's a total disconnect with parents and children, because when you see two people back to back on Greenwood Street, going down a hill, for example, or going down Phillip Park Lane, which I've seen more than once, obviously parents are not even educating their children how to use that particular item. So education, yes, but I think the best education is to the parents that if your child persists in riding on the street, the police have the ability to charge your child a $230 fine and go to court. And you as a parent will then be responsible. So if they get that information, then there's that real connection there to between them and the child. I'm sorry, you're not going out with the e-scooter anymore. Goodbye.
Parental accountability seems to be a premium.
All right, so the initial recommendation in the agenda was just to receive the report. I think staff has added a bit more to it. So the recommendation is to receive the report, and that the town of Shelburne has not opted into the provincial pilot program for e-scooters. Therefore, they are unregulated by the town and not permitted on public rights of way under the Highway Traffic Act. Where this includes roads, sidewalks, multi-use trails, and parks. And further, that as part of the town's transportation master plan, we can look at recommendations to review whether a phased approach to explore whether or not the use of these scooters should be permitted in Shelburne and whether or not to opt into the provincial pilot program. We're in second. I'll second. And in the meantime, like I say, I'll talk to Inspector Squally, Mayor Post, Mayor Selectman, so to see if sort of at the county level, if they coordinate something so that there's consistent messaging going out throughout Dufferin. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, thanks. All right, any notices of motion for tonight? Okay, communications, anything there that jumps out to anybody?
Just one.
Okay.
Literally number one.
Okay,
So I guess my concern was, or my question, to staff was, if a board decides they don't want to participate in our request to be more transparent with regards to either, oral or video, recording of the meetings, where does that sort of leave us? I mean, I'm assuming we can't force them to, so how do we go about that then? Because I would assume each member in the municipality records their council meetings, right? So I don't understand where they are coming from with this like uncomfortable feeling of not wanting the fire board or the CDRC or the library board, you know, for example, being more transparent and having that recording available to the public that won't be able to make the meetings. Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe someone can speak on what was sort of discussed at the meeting, and the feelings that were involved, because like I said, I'm pretty sure all their meetings are recorded, so what would be the difference in this case?
I'll give a bit of flavor of the discussion. Initially, when it was first raised, there were a couple of minor considerations just as to the technological arrangements, but
Yeah.
it was settled that, yeah, it may not be great quality, but
Yeah.
certainly there's the ability to do it. As the discussion went further, a couple of comments that stood out. One was, what's the real reason Shelburne is asking for meetings to be recorded? The second was, if any of the other municipalities other than Shelburne had asked for this, yeah, I'd have no problem with it, but because it's coming from Shelburne, no. At that point, I asked that the consideration be undertaken through a recorded vote, and the deputy mayor and I were the only two that voted in favor of it. There was one member of the board who was absent that night, and when I saw that board member at a future meeting, they couldn't understand why there wasn't more support. Exactly as you say, each member municipality records their council meetings.
Yeah.
And this particular member didn't see any reason why we couldn't do it there. That would have been three, still would have been defeated. I think the bottom line is, given some of the other discussions that are going on in the context of fire, that there was just an unwillingness to do anything in Shelburne may be requested.
Right.
At this point. So
Okay.
that's the launch of it. But it's on the record that the two members from Shelburne supported an initiative to increase transparency in meetings, and that was sound defeat by the other board.
So we're just stuck with that, I guess.
For the time being. I saw Councillor Ghishardi first, and then was that on this one, Walter?
No.
Matter. Okay.
No,
Okay, Councillor Ghishardi.
We could bring up number 6, the,
that's the one I was looking at.
okay, well, there.
You two can share.
Quite an extensive letter and proposal. I just want to point out that any municipality that has entered into something like this in terms of allowing backyard, coops or hen program have done a 180 at the end of the pilot and rescinded that. So I think having, you know, hens and pens in town limits is very remote at this time. I can't support it.
In 26 years, this is the first time I've seen this. And it's come up and we, said no in the past. One thing, it attracts rats, foxes, weasels, you name it, wildlife will come in. Second thing is the smell. If they could. If they don't clean, then you've got a smell around your neighborhood and you've got some real issues as well. I'm not against fresh eggs. If you want fresh eggs, go buy a farm. Or go see a farmer. There's lots of them around here that sell fresh eggs. And if you want chicken, same thing. Go outside of town, find all kinds of chickens. If you want to raise, make a deal with the farmer and split the proceeds or whatever else you want to do. But in town, it's not appropriate. No more than it appropriate having a cow in your backyard because you want fresh milk.
Can I say something?
I was gonna pull this out and put it on the table for discussion, because this was brought up probably in my last term, when we sat on council, it was brought up. We know the cost of food out there nowadays, everybody's trying to pinch their dimes, doing their nickels, doing their dimes. I'm not opposed to running a pilot program and see what happens with it and see where it goes. I personally think it's a good idea, but again, there is restrictions that have to go along with it. And again, it's the coops, the smell, all that kind of stuff. I raised chickens on the farm. I had 20 of them. And if the coop was cleaned out every day, there was no smell. There was zero smell. 20 that I had. So it has to be maintenance. It just can't be whatever. So we do have, you're on a couple of animals and they're roaming your backyard, you know what I mean? So I'd be willing to put it out there that we run a pilot program, but I'm just one, but I think it's worth taking a look at again. So we haven't looked at it in years. I don't think that, as far as I know, the last 12 years we've run a pilot program. Someone tried to pick it up before and never did anything. So
Yeah, I think we received a staff report during the 2014, 2018 term. Maybe received another one last term. I can't remember. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mind having the discussion. How difficult would it be for staff to put together a report?
So what we could do for yourself is we would use the basis of what is provided here. In turn, we would look at the experience of other municipalities. We would like the stats to be validated. How many have had pilot programs in Ontario? How many have ended those? And for what reason? I think the city of Toronto is currently running a program. This one is based on 4 men. But I think for council to have the most information, this wasn't intended to have decision stop presentation.
Yeah.
We certainly can take this as the foundation of the information, package it based on other information, to provide you with a recommendation on whether or not a pilot program be implemented and when, and have a definite evaluation criteria that would determine whether. And then it's all contingent on whether if this is proposed on 20 participating households, maybe it's 4, maybe there's a request for 8, but then we would have to put those parameters in place on what the program.
As part of that, I'd like to also hear a monitoring system.
Yeah.
I would like to, how enforcement monitoring would happen.
Through your worship, one thing I would also recommend is as well. Get, see what residents have, and ultimately affect them as well.
Right.
So even if it's, say, sort of,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. For residents, you know, if they would be okay.
Yeah, I think we definitely, that for sure, because I understand both sides and I kind of sit right in the middle where I think it's a great idea because again, you know, food insecurity and things of that nature and being able to sort of have your own eggs and whatnot. But then I also look at the flip side to that is unfortunately, if this goes larger, just every resident is able to have one, you know, coop, there's going to be responsible coop owners and there's going to be very unresponsible coop owners. And that's where my concern is the level of smell, the rats, the foxes and things that can come in. And you know, so I'm on both sides where I'm like, I think it's a great idea, but I also think it's a terrible idea. So we definitely need more information, we need more community engagement. There needs to be set rules and set, you know, there's more than just saying, yes, let's try this.
And the other part of it is you need to inform the neighbors because I would not want one there on my property.
Yeah.
So if a neighbor says, no, I don't want that near my property, that has to be taken into consideration as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, just one more thing that, well, it has recommended, a permit fees and that sort of thing. I think, you know, substantial, yes, there.
Yeah.
In order to, you know, again, that fine associated with enforcement.
Yeah.
The monitoring.
It's gonna be costly. Yeah. It'll cost them.
I do think it's worth a discussion. I think
Yeah,
it's-
that's why I raised it more than
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, and I appreciate that, and I mean, I wouldn't say my phone's blowing up with this issue, but every once in a while, I get the question, like, is this something that you allow?
Yeah.
No,
No.
currently not, so I mean, it's one of those things that crops up from time to time, so I do think that public engagement needs to kind of see where, so this is helpful. Yeah, so,
So it's June 22nd.
yeah, I don't think there's any reason why.
Shoot, that's actually faster than I thought.
Yeah, me too.
I know, like that. I wasn't expecting something else.
There's only one meeting in August. I'm thinking September we come back. Now, I know that is not probably in keeping with what the group that we want this year, most likely this. Yeah, next year, to give enough time for that public consultation and bring back comments. Because we're not gonna have time. June is.
We're also looking at election time anyway, like something like this, probably the best to leave for the next.
Well, the how you're saying, we traditionally like to give people reasonable amount, 3 weeks to respond. We also need to collate that data and then we need to actually just prepare this board.
Sure.
Yeah. And we only have, like I said, in email, we only have one.
Is turkeys?
Sorry?
What, is turkeys allowed?
Only hens.
It's just for eggs. Team turkey eggs.
What
We,
are you,
we've
chicken?
got goose on our farm. We only have to their eggs, they're a lot bigger.
Do you want a motion or just directions, okay?
I probably have some hens, to be honest.
Can we,
I would
can
like,
we just let her know too?
yeah,
Is that, just let her know that we're looking at this.
Yeah.
Probably
Give us some time.
it'll be in the future.
Anything else from communications? No. Okay, can I get a motion then to receive the remaining items? Councillor Fegan, second by Councillor Sample, all in favor? Carried. All right, closed session, can I have a motion to move into closed session as per section 239 sub 2 of the Municipal Act, sub B, to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or board employees. Councillor Sample, second by Councillor Fegan, all in favor? Carried. Okay, so I guess for those watching online, turned off.